Hello, everyone. I'm here to go over our assignment for today, which is writing a golden shovel poem. What is a golden shovel poem? So there's a couple of rules to this very unique style of poetry, and we actually saw this style in the poem Truth by Nikki Grimes, where she had bolded words at the end of her poem, and so I'm going to break that down for you a little bit. So first of all, you take a line or lines from a poem that you admire. You then will use each word in the line or lines as an end word in your poem. So just like in Truth, where each ending line was bolded, Nikki Grimes stole that from another poem. You'll keep the end words in order. You'll give credit to the poet who originally wrote the line or lines. If you pull a line with 6 words, your poem would be 6 lines long. If you pull a stanza with 24 words, your poem would be 24 lines long, and so on. And our theme for our Golden Shovel poem is going to be relating to happiness or joy. Now, this might still seem very, very abstract, but I'm going to take you through some examples and really show you what this type of poem looks like. But before I do that, I want to introduce to you your 3 poem options that you're going to use to select your line of poetry as your inspiration. So there's going to be 3 poem choices. Truth by Nikki Grimes, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth, and then From Blossoms by Li Young Lee. Now, we've read these poems, you've been exposed to them, we've analyzed them, right? All 3 are going to be linked in this Canvas assignment. So what you'll need to do is go into one of these 3 poems and select a line that really stood out to you and you felt like it could relate to some moment of happiness, what happiness is for you, what does joy mean for you, a happy memory. Really, this umbrella of happiness is endless, and you just need to find a line in one of these poems that really just sticks out to you and maybe reminds you of something that brings you happiness or joy. All right, so we're going to look at an example. So I'm going to start with the poem From Blossoms because that's the poem that I chose for my poem. So while I was reading From Blossoms, I found this line, "There are days we live." You'll see it here on the right. It's in the 4th stanza down. So something I want to mention is notice how there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in this line. That means my poem is going to be 5 lines long because there are 5 words in that line. Now, say I had chosen, let's say this one, to carry within us an orchard to eat. That would be kind of a weird sentence to pick, and you'll see why in a moment. But that poem would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines long. So hopefully you're starting to see that the line you choose will also determine how long your poem is going to be. So I chose this line because it just reminded me of some happy moments in my life, and I felt like, you know what, this is a line that I could write a poem about happiness about. And so I'm going to show you guys my example. So here's my poem. I titled it A Cup Full. Notice how I have my name by Sarah Cox. And then I also, remember one of the rules is saying who you stole that line from, right? We got to make sure we give credit to the author, after Li Young Lee. And here is my poem. My macchiato swirls around my mug. I glance there and hear the chime, the melody whispering to my heart, there you are. Years, months, days, since we last reminisced, and yet we chatter and cackle as though Father Time forgot to revolve. Roots live. Let's pause for a moment. I want you to notice a few things. Notice how there are days we live is the ending of my lines in this poem. They're bolded. I have 5 lines in my poem, right? Because I have only 5 words in that line that I stole from Li Young Lee. And I'm talking here about just being at a cafe or being at a Starbucks even with my friends and, drinking coffee drinks and just chatting and catching up. And that brings me joy. And that's why I called A Cup Full. I did this for a few reasons. It's a little play on words, right? Like my macchiato mug is literally full of coffee, but also when I spend time with my friends, it fills my cup, if you will. It makes me feel so happy to catch up and just reminisce, especially with friends I haven't seen in a long time. So again, I want you to notice that every word at the end of each line is bolded. Remember, those are the words that I took from Blossoms, and my poem is the same number of lines as there are words in the line that I stole. Okay, let's show a couple more examples to really make this come to life. Here's another example from Mrs. Duncan, another language arts teacher here at Riverside. So she chose to use Truth by Nikki Grimes, and she actually chose the first line. The truth is, every day we rise is like thunder. I have it highlighted there for you on the left-hand side. So her poem, she titled it A Force to Rival Thunder by Lisa Duncan after Nikki Grimes, right? She's telling us who she, got this line from. I love that she did her words in purple. They really stand out. So let's hear her poem. A clearing of the mind, a powerful truth revealed. For me it is that movement in every way, every day, builds confidence that we, my mind, my body, will rise to any challenge that is placed in the path ahead like a force to rival thunder. So hers is such a powerful poem, right? And that power, that building of confidence, that she's going to rise to any challenge that she's faced with, that brings her joy. So again, I want you to notice that the line that she chose, the truth is, every day we rise is like thunder, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words in it, which means that her poem is also 10 lines long and ends with those words. All right, one more example to really make this come to light. Here's another example from Mrs. Luperini, another Riverside language arts teacher, and she chose the poem I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, and she chose the line, which is the bliss of solitude, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words in it, which means that Mrs. Luperini's poem should have 6 lines in it. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, Mrs. Luperini, Gifted Bliss is the title of her poem by Hannah Luperini after William Wordsworth. Here it is. I prayed and I wished for the special present to which I looked forward to for so long, and when it came, I knew this is my greatest gift and bountiful blessing, the chance to revel in this immeasurable bliss, wrapped up perfectly in a package of perfection and pleasure, removing all solitude. What a beautiful poem. Here Mrs. Luperini is talking about her children and what a precious gift that was that, she has children. What a really, really sweet poem. Obviously, they bring her happiness, they bring her joy, and that's why she decided to write about them. All right, it's your turn. Here we go. You are going to try this style, okay? You're going to select one of the 3 poems that we've read. You're going to select a line that inspires you, one that makes sense, right? There's some lines in the poetry that would not be good choices. Sometimes it's hard to end a sentence with the or and. So really be selective with the, line that you choose. You're going to write your poem with each of those words being the ending of each line. Please use my examples, our examples as a reference. I'm hopeful that, seeing those side by side will really help you envision what this poem should look like. Your format should be very similar to ours. Title, your name, after the poet, and then your poem. I recommend typing this in Microsoft Word and saving to your writing folder in OneDrive. That would be a great place to kind of keep this organized, and then submit to Canvas when you are finished. Again, make sure you have a title, your name, reference the poet, and then your poem. Please bold the words of the poem that you are referencing, just like we did in our examples. so that way I can easily see which line you chose from the 3 poem choices. Good luck, everyone. Feel free to go back and watch this video as many times as you need. I'm sure your poems are going to turn out lovely.